on the rise, I would say. Certainly 100 Thieves have to be feeling good off their win yesterday.
Absolutely. Beating Team Liquid is always a milestone achievement for any team, even if they are playing without Broxah. So I like what the desk said right there about trying to stay and build off of their previous games, and can't wait to see what we see in draft here.
Well, I like the respect on the 100 Thieves side. Akali and Rumble, get him out of here. Champions been very strong for quite a while. Lucian, Aatrox, and Xayah on the other side there for IMT.
Yeah, set ban as well. I was thinking that would have been the first pick if it was not banned, but with all the 80 carry bans coming out of Immortals, the Aphelios makes the most logical sense.
And Aphelios has certainly been one of the premier ADs. We'll see if Cody does want to opt into the center or play something a little bit more aggressive. Center is such a different style of bot laner, but I think we're starting to see more drafts where teams understand how to put her in different comps, and certainly a very strong laner and overall good champion as well. So seen a lot of this matchup, and looks like we will see it again.
Yeah, I think Senna Braum or Senna Tom are a good 1-2 on red side here, if that's what they choose to do. It does slightly change the way you need to position your waves late game, but that shouldn't be that much of a weakness to work around because it can be so strong later. And also, interesting that they did the gangplank here so early for Someday, because with Tom and Braum both still being up, if they do want to peel support for Senna, Immortals is never going to take both of them, so they see the GP as a higher priority.
Also clearly happy to blind it here. Maybe just convince that Soaz doesn't have something 1v1 that Someday can be too afraid of. And again, given his recent performances on Gangplank, can't fault him too much there. Wanting to take this pick early. Braum, though, will be the pickup.
Yeah.
Is the most played champion in the LCS all time.
In LCS history, yeah. If you're watching Jazz Stats, thank you for that basic time.
Don't think we'll see Zed sadly here for Ica.
Yeah, Zed might be the most hover champion of all time.
Yeah, him and Teemo, right up there. But Zoe's certainly been good for both these mid laners, so maybe something to consider if they want to take it here. But seen a lot of control mages as well. Mid staying fairly diverse as far as its champions go, but actually going to be a jungler instead. Smithy deciding he wants Rek'Sai now.
Yeah, so they're trying to pinch 100 Thieves a little bit here by not matching a soul lane pick. This is basically Immortals and Soaz saying that they're okay eating a few target bans in phase 2, and that 100 Thieves now needs to pick between jungle and support. Whatever they pick now, when they go through the second phase of bans, they're going to have to deal with less. So with the Gragas locked in, they opt for Comfort for Meteos and say, we don't care if you ban Tahm Kench.
Makes sense. Gragas again, kind of picking up speed as a champion, has been good for a long time from that position. But actually some mid lane bans here. LeBlanc going to be the 4th ban overall for 100 Thieves. Ryoma deciding he doesn't want to play against that. And Yasuo on the other side.
They're just throwing out bans, Pacer time. No fear of the Tahm Kench from 100 Thieves here. And more so, looks like they're just trying to get a little bit of posturing for that mid lane matchup. Ornn ban is a top lane since there's no top lane pick by Immortals.
Interesting to see, kind of the best tank in top being banned against the GP, who tends to do fairly well in those matchups, but Ornn is so good at everything else and generally survives lane that I think I like just respectfully banning that one away. Zoe, that I mentioned, also will be taken out of the pool. So we'll see what 100 Thieves have on offer here for pick number 4. Feels like taking your support now makes sense. You already know the 2v2 matchup.
And you can still go with something more aggressive since there were no bans. The Thresh was effective for stun yesterday. It offers a certain semblance of peel. The unlikely combo of Senna Thresh from a lore perspective, but from a gameplay perspective, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, actually pretty good in the 2v2. We'll see how Immortals want to finish out their draft, though. Soaz will have to decide how he wants to combat the Gangplank in the top lane, and we'll see what Ica wants to blind here. Gonna guess a control mage. They're pretty safe to take. Syndra also has been very popular, so maybe that's the champ they want to go for. Cho'Gath, not necessarily on my radar, but is going to be the pickup there.
It's for the GP counter. I mean, Soaz is an old school player, so brings out an old school pick. I don't hate it. This is something that I expect from Immortals actually throughout the year, is they don't care what other teams in the LCS think is good. They're just going to pick what they think they can win with. And the Cho'Gath, I think, is a perfect example of that. Syndra, though, is a power pick.
See what Ryoma has here for potential counter picks. This does somewhat block Orianna, although people are still willing to play that matchup some of the time. Certainly lots of considerations. That's kind of a fun one, actually.
That would be fun. They'd be very heavy AD even though they have the Gragas jungle for AP threat.
All right, it is Ori instead. So even though I said, again, Syndra somewhat blocks this pick because 1v1, Orianna doesn't have the best time, but Orianna's pretty stable in most situations, so Ryoma just happy to take the champ he played yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, pretty big late game coming in for 100 Thieves in this draft. If they are to subscribe to the let's try and play relatively safe early game, that's definitely a possibility. Looking forward to this one to see where the Soaz versus Someday goes in that top lane matchup. Gragas can get any kill pressure onto Someday. Someday had 3 solo kills yesterday.
That's a lot.
Yeah, just in a game.
We'll see if Soaz does, in fact, suffer the same fate. But potentially topside could have a lot of early activity. I do think Immortals have a few more go buttons, let's say. I mean, Senna Gangplank, very good from a overall DPS perspective. Lots of different things they can add. But not that many ways to directly engage on the enemy short of a really well-placed stunt hook or Meteos flashing in there with the body slam. I do, personally, I think this is a holdover from watching too much LPL, is that I like when Senna's ult can be used offensively, kind of like an old Galio ulti when you got the Jarvan jumping in there or something like that. But again, perfectly good in playing more attrition-y longer fights as well, because if you don't kill Senna quickly, she tends to win the fight if it lasts too long.
Yeah, I definitely think that aside from a little bit of splitting for 100 Thieves, this composition is going to be about grouping and fighting. So instead of offensively using the Senna ult for 1v1s in side lanes, just used as a big nuke in team fights.
Well, see how the game shakes out. Immortals, again, can tie for second if they rattle off 2 straight wins here. This is their first game of the week. They will play at Monday Night League tomorrow as well. The 100 Thieves have to be feeling the momentum is building. And for a team that was kind of admittedly expected things to go slowly,
yeah,
not that slow, beating up TL yesterday in a fairly impressive game. But I think expectations for both of these teams have been already somewhat disproven, so kind of a nice place for them to meet early in the season.
Yeah, to the victor go the spoils. If 100 Thieves wins, they'll be guaranteed tied for second by the end of the week, since we have Cloud9 undefeated and then no one at 1 losses and kind of a clump of teams at 2. Meanwhile, Immortals, with this game and then CLG on Monday Night League, have an opportunity to also be tied for first after 3 weeks, which when you looked at a lot of the preseason power rankings, people had Immortals down somewhere between 8th and 10th. So that would be quite vindicating for them. Although Zabutin, if you were watching a few minutes ago in the interview, said he's more of a process person, you know, doesn't worry that much about the results, especially in spring. But the results are nice.
Yes.
Right? If they do follow, you can be as much of a process person as you want, but winning games always feels good.
I can tell you from every interaction I've ever had with a pro player, they love winning.
Yeah.
So certainly from a player perspective, so like when that goes well, Zyko getting Electrocute procced early against Ryoma. Ooh, late invade as well.
Late invade with Braum. You can see Meteos already pushed off of blue, trying to get the Wolf camp in so he doesn't lose out too much efficiency.
See where he goes after this, but will not be spotted on the Wolves. So pretty low effort invade there from Immortals, but does give them the enemy blue. See how this kind of brings out through the rest of the early jungle pathing, but expecting no smite needed. Just going to go ahead and take the Grump as well.
I love late invades with Braum. He just wins basically every level 1 fight for your team, so not letting the other team get scout wards on you and going in a little bit late is great. And now we're going to get to see how Meteos tries to counter this. So if we look at actually what's set up on the map, there's already a ward at xSmithy's blue buff. So he wants knowledge of where Meteos goes from here, and since he's full cleared the Gromp as well, that's potentially an XP lead for xSmithy, but it does depend on where he goes from here.
Yeah, Meteos though already on his other side, of course, because he's out of camps after the blue and Gromp got stolen, and he took his Wolves. But Smithy on the red, not rushing over to his blue to try and complete a 3 buff just yet. But Meteos is actually just staying on his top side right now.
Yeah, I expect Meteos to just take this and then go back for his red and just say, all right, I got counter jungle 2 camps, but respawn timers are really low, and he's probably expected to be fine. I actually haven't done the math on this. If he actually gets level 3 from Krugs, he should probably, because a chance he doesn't with that 3 camp combination.
Certainly find out shortly.
Yeah, he does.
He does. Even has the last few to finish off. 1 barrel easily cleans those out, so Meteos will go ahead and finish clearing the rest of his jungle after some of it got taken away. Smithy though is on his blue, so Meteos will lose a major buff to start the game, but again, I think just happy farming things up for now, as Smithy may be looking top here for someday.
Yeah, he's got to go fast.
Level 4. Oh, good flash.
He
really
can kill
nicely
him.
placed Rupture, though.
Maybe.
Gonna keep follow flashing there. The orange is out for a bit of extra health. Conqueror procs. Not quite enough. The Raptor's good! And Smithy nails first blood.
And that started from the late invade, if you think about it in totality. Somebody thought he'd be able to get away, but the fact that he couldn't sidestep any of the ruptures is ultimately what did him. He had to flash the first one, didn't have flash by the second time, it ends up falling.
And maybe most impressively, despite the late invade from IMT's bot lane, they're actually here harassing Ryoma back to base. After Meteos is also in danger of losing the Kravik Smithy! Gonna smite it away and now chase the Gragas. He's a level down. Ryoma here to help, but again, the bot lane's still here. Here's Ica over the top, does get the stun. Conqueror proc, Paco in there! Meteos gonna have to run. No flash, does get out just barely with the body slam.
Very close to a kill by Immortals in this explosive early game. After shoving in bot, Hakuho roams mid, and Xmithy also doing everything he can to delay the recall. So now the pressure game's on, right? There's flash burn top. They've pushed Meteos out of the jungle, burn his flash, counter jungling his Raptors, trying to pressure in as many places as possible.
You mentioned Soaz, an old school player and an old school champion. His accuracy here also really helping out.
Yeah, I mean, you could see what somebody wanted to do. He wanted to push that wave into turret and then back off. And in the fraction of a second before he's able to back off, Xmithy arrives, and then the very tail end of that rupture gets it.
Hey, I've seen this before.
Hello.
Knock up into Rupture this time, no accuracy needed. Just an easy follow-up kill potentially as Someday get him back. No, not enough. Almost cooked the turret shot enough to take down Soaz, but he will live.
Soaz still hadn't recalled, so no additional items for this return gank, and the patience by Someday to hold his oranges until he was lower is what made that dive ineffective. So back in control of this lane, even after that, and able to get the wave into the turret. That's the important thing.
Yeah, Meteos with the Predator, clearly upset, just ran to top lane to try and potentially salvage something there, but the situation is fine. Someday does live through the second attempt on his life, and Soaz will finally complete his recall with about a wave ahead in CS right now. And TP back from Cody to the bottom lane. Still a little ahead on CS if he clears most of this wave, but Hako and Altek just playing aggressive. Nice hook into the root, but no follow-up there on the Braum. As you can see, Altek and Hako are happy to shove the wave and just go somewhere else. Already you could see what their presence in mid did to this early game.
Yeah, at 6 minutes, I hope 100 Thieves holds the wave here as long as they can, because they've lost teleport advantage in that bottom lane, and you would like to try and deny as many minions to force the opponent TP out, which is what we see right here. So now neither bot lane will have TP for the 8-minute window spell.
Hako again getting aggressive. The stunt going back. Cody does have to play somewhat carefully. They're just going to get as many of these as he can, try and keep them away from the turret. Seems just fine right now in the 1v2, with Someday in danger of being dove once again. Xmithy not going to go for it.
Yeah, really important moment in the game here. Someday needs to avoid dying to the first Cho'Gath peak, because that lane can get out of control very quickly. And while he's kind of in that 1v2, Meteos is trying to catch up on experience elsewhere on the map. So trying to make Someday do a lot here, but so far he's holding on.
Makes sense though, given the game he had yesterday with 0 deaths. Already starting off well here for Immortals, as Ryoma will be donated his blue. Meteos does not get one.
Yeah, that's a toughie. The mid laner is in a tough matchup, and the jungler is as well.
Someday
if
solo
he gets
kills,
a
by the
solo
way.
kill here.
Doesn't have flash. Q not enough for the slow, but will force Soaz's flash out.
Now he's got to watch out.
Yep, Ica and Xmithy, a false sense of security may have been bred here in top lane. So it's going to be the bait. Now he's going to get some real bad news. Another very accurate rupture, unleashed power, and there's the piece you talked about, chat. Soaz.
Someday with an overreach right there. Everyone was missing on the map. He pushed Soaz off, but he needed to just back up into his turret. When Ryoma moved towards blue buff, they lost all ability to take stock of the top side of the map, and Someday pays the price.
Sometimes it looks too good to be true, and in that case, the 1v1 certainly was. Soaz burns his flash to give his teammates time to come in for the kill. Someday suffers his second death in the first 8 minutes as Xmithy continuing to, again, with control of this top side, counter jungling camps away from Meteor, still very far ahead on XP. In fact, as the numbers show right now, he's 2 levels ahead. Of course, not quite that bad.
It's pretty close to that bad.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. Someday here you can see outplaying the Rupture, getting the Grass proc, knows he can't chase into Fog, but his GP ultimate did enough to push. He was really just running down in the river to check for people coming, but because of the path that Ica and xMithy took, gets caught by surprise.
2v2, center ulti out from Cody. Good block though from Hakuo. And I'll take Igniter, but will not fall. I like the attempt though from 100 Thieves, starting to get aggressive in the 2v2. Cloud Drake also went over to 100 Thieves after the topside play, but again, this continued control of topside does give the first Rift Herald to Immortals.
Yeah, Immortals did not have to swap their bottom lane up or deal with any type of extended fight versus Senna in River because of that topside control. So nice cashing out of xMithy's pressure there by Immortals to be able to take the Rift Herald without having to swap up any of the lanes.
And so, as you can see, just by the numbers in the 1v1, has a kill, has an assist, up almost 20 CS on the GP. Despite the fact that Sunday's clearly comfortable in a 1v1 to try and fight the Cho'Gath, but it's been pretty unfair from the first few minutes as Meteos charging up towards the top side, still behind a level. Gonna get knocked up here, puts down the barrel, Ica flashing in, Unleashed Power, just goes straight for it, and that's enough.
Meteos is not allowed to be there based on the current state of his lanes, so Immortals collapse on him fairly easily to pick up that kill, and this has been a pretty good display of xMithy's jungling control. He's got winning lanes, he's playing 100% around topside and making the most of it.
So is also just trying to hold this wave a little bit. Continue to deny CS away from Someday. Ryoma does not catch xMithy recalling there. It does at least spot the controller, but has to dip back to mid to keep up the farm. Another ulti there from Someday, just trying to break his freeze, I suppose. Soaz has been trying to hold for quite a while. And it's not stopping, unfortunately, for Someday. Cho'Gath more than tanky enough to just sit in the wave.
And this is so tough because now Someday's saying, hey, I need jungle attention or someone up here so I can get the wave into the turret. But we saw what happened to Meteos the last time he was up there. So Someday actually, because he had the roam of his mid lane and support, is able to get that wave into the turret, kind of, but even then, Soaz holds it. And Soaz actually, I think, potentially made a mistake there by breaking the freeze.
I think so too. Cody-san though in trouble. That's going to be another one over. IMT with their 4th kill of the game. Cody just caught out in the river.
And xMithy is seemingly always where 100 Thieves doesn't expect him to be. He's been camping topside. They say a wave's crashing. They go there. Meanwhile, that means Cody thinks he'd be able to do something bottom, but he can't.
Ryoma, that's not a good spot to be. Does get unleashed on again. Ulti out of Gragas. Does dodge the Bromo with the stasis. Good. Lantern there from Thresh. Oh, goodness, hello! xMithy out of nowhere will go down. A little too far as Meteos finally going to get some revenge.
Oh, no, xMithy! That was Lee Syndrome on Rek'Sai, actually. You just went in for an execute. Even if he gets the kill, he'd be given over his advantage. The death timer, as well as the kill given over, does give Meteos some time to catch up.
Woo. Certainly a one-way trip on that one. xMithy doesn't even get the trade. There's good damage down in the bot lane as Altek and Hakuo pushing 2v2 and using that Demolish proc to get some tower plate gold, but it's been a pretty spicy early game here as it seems that Ryoma just shouldn't be here.
Yeah, and Immortals thinks they have a good 3v3 fight here, but Stopwatch comes through to dodge the stun, and he pressed it. Wow, that's actually, I gotta credit 100 Thieves for this bait. xMithy pressed the ult while Orianna was well in front of her turret. Then Lantern into Flash pulls xMithy all the way behind tier 1, which ultimately leads to his death. So actually pretty well played there by 100 Thieves to pull the Rek'Sai in.
Yep, that's their first kill on the board, so getting a little bit of gold back in their favor. Still down about 2,000 as the next Drake has spawned. Rift Herald also going to be summoned here in the bot lane. I think that's enough to finish off this tower that's been weakened to less than 2 plates.
Yeah, unless they could get the minions up early, but nope, Rift Herald's gonna get the charge off. That'll be first turret.
Yep, gold going over. Altek gonna collect the bulk of it there, and Immortals just continuing to say that wherever xMithy is, that's where we have control. They're gonna take the Ocean Drake as well.
And now the question becomes, how quickly can Immortals continue to accelerate this game versus how well can 100 Thieves stall out. The Righteous Glory Cho'Gath is someone who's going to be trying to make action happen.
100 Thieves going in. Meteor's looking for it. Sent ulti out as well. Soa's in a 2v1 briefly, but Ika's here as well. Someday also roaming up, and the TP's in from Outtack. The flanking Aphelios. Not what I expected. Meanwhile, Vigil out, tags Ryoma, but only one. As Someday gonna keep them back with the barrel. Shockwave not available. Stun there onto Meteor, so again, it's just so low. It feels not so fun, but this time the Syndra ulti is not enough to kill him.
Yeah, but they do not suffer any casualties during that play, so one Righteous Glory cooldown down and not too many minions lost on the side. So what we really need to do, Patriot Time, is we need to pay attention to this gold lead. It's 3,000 gold at 14 minutes with Drake up in 4. I've been watching a lot of International League.
Yes.
And LCK is doing this strange thing that I'm wondering if it's going to be able to be mimicked by other regions. So what tends to happen once a team gets a 2,000 to 3,000 gold advantage is the game actually locks and then they play for Dragon Soul. If we saw that here, we would actually see very few kills while Immortals take control of the map and goes for Dragon Soul. I would be shocked if that is long-term the best way to play League of Legends. So I'm looking for Immortals to actually make a lot of those types of river roams and turret dives before that becomes a thing to extend their advantage. And the place they should attack is actually Cody's son in the top lane right now as he's trying to catch wave with his turret. It's the slowest wave clear player on the team, and I think the best place to attack.
Well, I have to agree, as this also will help out in any potential furthering of the gold leads. Second Rift Herald will be started here by Immortals. And it looks like not much of a contest. But Meteor's just trying to wedge his way in there. Onto Hakuo he goes. Has to flash though. Stunt finds Ica. GOP there after the cast from Meteors, but doesn't knock them back in. And Immortals buy enough time for Xmithy to finish off the objective.
Yeah, I don't think there was any realistic way 100 Thieves could contest that objective. The top lane turret's now going to go over Altec and extend his gold lead.
I like this counter push a lot though from 100 Thieves, as Ica will be forced to flash away from Thresh. Trying to break mid, but the wave clear from Syndra and the Cho'Gath being there just to defend any dives is enough.
Yeah, also make sure to tune into Monday Night League. We just got to see that. It's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific time on Mondays. 2 of the LCS games will be played in prime time right there.
Again, Immortals still chasing that potential tie. Make sure to tune in to see them play tomorrow. Tower though in the top lane. Actually, that Rift Herald got 2.
Yeah. 100 Thieves, after contesting the Rift Herald, ran back mid lane so no one could catch.
I appreciate the Rift Herald demonstrating your point about Senna's wave clear. Cody-san could not clear everything out in time for the third charge to not come through. There is still mid lane, at least here for 100 Thieves to try and stay anchored to. So they've got a little bit of an easier time to contest for the upcoming Drake in a minute 45, but especially if Senna's the one clearing out this awfully long top lane, it's going to take so long for Cody to shove this all out and then waddle his way down to the objective. Immortals have a big open space to play with here.
Absolutely, Drake in 1 minute 30 seconds. They'll easily pick up that one. Even though they were unable to get kills, getting those 2 top lane turrets does extend that goal lead. It was 3,000 the last time we did check-in. They've made it up to 4. And that mid turret is kind of dangling. That's where Hakuho's going next. Nice play by Immortals.
I like this again. Trying to crack mid. This is the last outer tower they need.
Well, they were going to dive if that landed. If that Aphelios root landed, they were going to dive.
No dive, of course, coming. Root does land onto stun, but again, Immortals with no wave don't want to just go right in under the tower, especially since 100 Thieves have had some time to rotate players around. There is a blue buff, though, open for the taking. Meteos has only given one away and did not get one himself at level 1. Oh, I'm not going to get that either. So it's just beasted away. Meteos, though, trying to force something, but again, behind on XP.
They're going.
Rough life in the jungle sometimes. As Meteos gets the body slam, but doesn't find the ultimate follow-up.
I can understand why Meteos was trying to force, because he sees Ica top lane with no TP, but he also has Someday in base. And even if he has TP, he's going to be so late there, so time that 100 Thieves could have just spent trying to prep the waves ends up being used for no gain, and now they lose complete control of the jungle.
Yeah, they already lost mid to the minions. Root gonna land onto Xmithy. Maybe a flank here from...
Gotta back away.
Meteos and Ryoma, but yeah, just so scary. IMT, again, continuing to clear things out. Drake up in 5. 100 Thieves feeling very slow on a lot of these rotations, but I think it's more just to do with the pressure that IMT have been able to put out this game. And this Drake will go again over to Immortals with no contest.
None necessarily expected after 100 Thieves tried to do that move. All right, pace your time. We set the timer. 5 minutes.
Yep.
Will there be kills in between now and the next Drake? Or is Immortal saying, we have enough of a lead, let's play for soul and just bounce these waves back and forth? There's a real possibility that happens.
I really hope that doesn't happen, but we'll see.
Might.
It might.
It happens almost every game in the LCS.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I feel like it's not... Anyway, it's fine. I feel like it's not Syndra's game plan. Like, you pick Syndra Cho'Gath, you have all these different ways to pick people off. The map is completely open. Like, they can't get vision. You can just move into their jungle. Someone's going to face check, surely.
You would want, but it's kind of a handshake, and this is what I'm trying to figure out, is it possible for the defending team to just catch waves with their turret enough to freeze the gold and then only peek their head out when there's Drakes? Like, 100 Thieves is contesting the mid-wave right now with Senna because they don't want to wait for it to crash. That actually puts them in danger, and that would be a way for Immortals to break open the game.
Oh, speaking of, Cody's son with a lantern, can't grab it. In stasis right now, but I don't think he is going to get out. Good shockwave as well, but Soaz with the big flank. TP's in and feasts on Cody's son.
So,
case in point.
They didn't have to do that. They could have just sat at the turret, because what objectives are up right now? Like, what are they contesting? They didn't get river vision at all. Now, they give total freedom for Immortals to take over control of red side jungle, and they give over more gold to the other team.
There's always the question of, you know, do you want to handshake the game when some days Gangplank is in it? It's kind of one of the champions that you tend to not want to give lots of time to.
Yeah, so I want to see 100 Thieves force Immortals to do something. Because right now, they just let Immortals do something.
Got it.
Because they push mid.
Let's see if they're willing to let the game drag out a little bit longer. Immortals, though, certainly off to the early game start the analysts were asking for.
Yeah, big early game for them.
And 3 minutes until something definitely happens. We'll see if any action happens in the interim.
And because they have a Felios Cho, if they can get to red gun, white gun, that combination, if Alltech games his gun system to get that happening, then they can force Baron and kill it very quickly and have good secure with Cho'Gath. But to do that, they do need to get control of 100 Thieves red side jungle, like deeper control than they have right now. Otherwise, the Baron take would just be too slow.
Yep. Again, this is that one little ward, not going to be spotted yet by Meteos, who's continuing to try and force here. Popping a Predator. Oh, Ryoma with a shockwave on himself, looking for Xmithy, but did not get it. I think Ryoma just misplaced the ball there. Although the fight's still continuing, Soa is just running into the enemy team. He's not afraid of anything. Ulti out from Aphelios, and Hakwa getting low from Cody's son's return off, but it's kind of a messy one here. Soaz, though, just continuing to run in, and 100 Thieves can't really chase. Ica looking for the ulti, will find stunned with the unleashed power. And this can't kill the Cho'Gath, so Immortals eventually get a kill.
I mean, with Senna on the team and a Stoneplate Cho'Gath, it's going to be a while until anyone can think to shred through the front line that's going to be that team, especially when Hakuho gets his Stoneplate. That's why he has the stopwatch. He was working up towards it. Again, though, like that was a fight that 100 Thieves started. They said, we want to contest this spot, and they give over the gold. It's now grown to 5,000.
These are all opt-in experiences for 100 Thieves. This one, okay, maybe not as much, although good counter ulti there from Someday. This time Ryoma forces a flash with the shockwave. So I guess my question to you, Jet, is in the case of playing for Soul, should 100 Thieves be contesting for this third rank, or do they only contest for the Soul drink?
It does depend on the setup. Generally speaking, like, this is not 100 Thieves' plan to wait to make... 100 Thieves' plan is clearly not to freeze gold and then contest Dragon Soul.
Yes.
But if that was the plan, then they wouldn't actually contest anything until Dragon Soul.
Got it.
You would just... Since Immortals isn't freezing any waves, they just sit at turrets with as many wards in their jungle as they can, catch the waves, and then clear a few jungle camps when possible to try and keep the gold as close to lock as possible. Gold is unlocked, though, because they've been opting up for these fights, and plays like this is what Immortals would have to do. So now Immortals is forcing something, which means now 100 Thieves can fight.
On the Meteos, though, fight continuing. Good stopwatch there from Meteos, dodges the Void Rush. Good hook as well from Stunt, ulti out from Senna, and Hako will finally be slain. That Stoneplate kept him alive for a while, though, as Meteos will be forced to flash from Ica.
Yeah, that was good play by 100 Thieves right there. They forced a play onto Someday. There were too many people there, and then with the numbers advantage, 100 Thieves decided to go for play, and they win the fight.
Well, looks like this Drake, though, will also go over to IMT. So unfortunately, not enough of a team fight win for 100 Thieves to potentially take this Drake away. So it does go over to a fairly full Soaz at this point, stacking up the feast quite swiftly.
Yeah, he's gotten 5 of his total 6 minions he's allowed to chomp, has gotten 2 champs, 1 epic, so he's well on his way to Giant Show, 10 total feast stacks. Watching this fight one more time, Meteos does pop Hakuho back, and they have the teleport come in to create a later in the fight numbers advantage, since there were 2 people on Immortals over in the other lane, and they win the fight.
Done there over the wall from Ica, at least forcing a summoner out of Meteos. Now 100 Thieves over to the Baron side of the map, because there's no Drake to look at for the next 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, with Aphelios, they can actually threaten this, and I really want to see them do so with a 5,000 gold lead. They should move into the 100 Thieves jungle and hope that 100 Thieves tries to contest him there, because then they can win a fight where Meteos, Ryoma, and Cody understand.
Did see one piece of the puzzle for Altec. Did have Crescendum up. But looks like he's clearing the wave right now, so perhaps is just burning ammo and keeping the waves pushed out.
Yeah, I think the important things to track here is Soaz's teleport timer, because he is the guy who actually needs to face check up into these areas to get jungle stuff. But since he doesn't have TP and Someday can match it on the other side, they're just waiting for that to be the case. Once he has TP, I actually think Soaz will recall, then run to Baron, and only have the teleport in case of a backup plan. I think they're just stalling for a bit.
Yep, again, 3 items now on Altec. 2.5 left for Ica with the Sword Producer. Attempt on Soaz's life in the 2v1, but might take a while if it happens at all.
Yeah, try to keep him from the blast cone.
Soaz is going for the soft target. It is Meteos, level 11 Gragas. GP ult, though, is Stunt also joining the party, but that's to evacuate Someday as the rest of Immortals have rotated over.
Good attempt. Just don't have the damage to kill Cho.
Yep.
For obvious reasons.
Still has Stone Plate up. Regenerating health. Stunt gonna get knocked up here by Hakuho. Moonlight Vigil into Cody. Roots is gonna land, but Senna in the camouflage not going down yet. Unfortunately for Stunt, he will not be so lucky as Soaz on a killing spree picks up yet another kill.
Yep, now that they've gotten out GP and Gragas ultimate, as well as killed Stunt, it's easy to move into the red buff to get as much vision as they can.
100 Thieves gonna try and clear what waves they can. Stunt back up in 17 seconds. IMT not rushing things. Great stun there from Ica. Barrel though back from Someday. He's in there. He wants to try and make it happen for the team. Gets Silence still dancing around, but again, Soaz is just the largest roadblock en route to try and kill the IMT backline, and now the counter engage happens. Again, still a 5v4 for 100 Thieves, with Stunt tearing down mid lane with the Mobies.
Yeah, doing everything they can to get this mid-wave pushed in, which could give them access to a Baron's fight if Immortals tries to go there. So, playing a risky game here, but 100 Thieves trying to stay in it.
And 2 minutes till they'll also have to worry about the Infernal Soul on the Immortals side. Some recalls happening, but no one will be caught backing. Stunt trying to find a hook over the wall. Very common spot for people to back from, but Stunt does not guess right that time. At least 100 Thieves are now finally clear some vision out of the river. It feels like they haven't been in this section of the map for a lot of the game, to be honest. But gonna have to reset themselves. And again, 2 big objectives that Immortals will be able to drag them between.
Total uphill battle. An Infinity Edge completed by Altec right now. So he is exceptionally strong, and unless Meteos can get an initiation clean onto the Aphelios, I think it would be a lost fight. So, great front-to-back team fighting from Immortals.
Hook lands again. Root from Senna is actually going to grab 2, but Soaz with the flank. Once again, knocks up the front side, and Stunt just cannot live. Someday gets ulted by Aphelios. Ryoma trying to zone them out, but Soaz just unrelenting. Misses that follow-up rupture, but doesn't really matter. Ica flashing in onto Meteos. Into stasis he goes with the Zonias, but the knockup's there. Ryoma with a decent 2-man shockwave. Cody-san follows up ulti, but Meteos with the jungler dead and the feast off cooldown. IMT can threaten either objective.
Yeah, just not even close there for 100 Thieves. They thought maybe they'd have a catch on to Hakuho, but ended up just getting pulled further into Immortals, and now they turn for Baron. Still feast up, so they can burst this from about 2,000.
Good ward here, but a tough steal to ask for.
And Medios isn't even alive.
Yeah. Ooh, hello! Really nice stun from Ica. Finds two. Soaz decides that he's wanting to grab more kills instead of the Baron. Doesn't have his flash, though. So you're going to have to be a bit more careful here. But is he even going to die? Someday trying desperately to get the kill. Ryoma will find the shutdown. Baron is open! GLP! Very close, but not enough. Xmithy with the smite does secure it.
Yeah, they still had smite. Getting the shutdown on to Soaz is a nice consolation prize, especially if 100 Thieves can rush for Infernal right here. Knowing Soaz is dead for 30 and Cody Sen has 15, yeah, they're going to look to group right away and go for this Infernal Drake.
In case you're wondering, GLP Bolt does about just a little over 200 damage at the moment for Ryoma, so a very unlikely steal.
Good try. Xmithy doesn't even have smite, so 100 should just look to burn this. Cody, you got to TP now.
Ooh, Xmithy over the top though, looking to contest for the Drake. Smite still not there. Does go over to Medios, but Infernum ulti from Aphelios is going to cause a good amount of damage and stunts left out to dry. See you later, as Hakuo picks up his first kill of the game. Blue buff does go over to Ryoma, but 100 Thieves still stuck defending.
Yeah, Soul prevented for now. Stunt goes down, and now Immortals look to push with Baron. See how they're set up with about was a 3-2 split for a while, but now Ica just getting the turret threat in the mid lane as they look to break inhibitor bot.
Plenty of places to attack. Baron's still up for a minute 45. So we're going to try and move these waves in. Already at the bottom inhibitor tower. Oh, goodness. Gets demolished. And Soaz again just charging in. Feast Ryoma didn't even get the execute. Didn't need it. GLP back from Ryoma. Shockwave, but only on the tanky Stoneplate show. 100 D's going to try and fight here. Someday with a good ulti is going to get the kill. And with the frontliner down, maybe 100 Thieves can keep fighting, but Ica will break the mid tower as well. Was not present for that fight. Wasn't needed almost at the end of it. Ulti on the Medios. Back in his zombies he goes. 100 Thieves maybe going to try and defend these inhibs. Good hook there into Xmithy, forcing the flash, but not enough to save this inhib.
100 Thieves not even thinking about team fighting there. Really just thinking about how do we get the two inhibitors down, and they were ultimately successful in it. Only cost them 1 kill's worth of gold onto Cho. Now they're resetting, still have 53 seconds left on this Baron power play. By the time they push the top wave, there will be super minions right here that are running up the other waves, kind of crashing into the base. So that's going to be the difficult to defend moment for 100 Thieves that Immortals are going to try and crash next. We're going to watch this engagement one more time. You can see Soaz does threaten a kill onto Ryoma, but since Ica doesn't even engage himself in this fight, you can see him over on the bottom left of your screen.
He's farming.
Yeah, he's
it's the tower.
Hitting the turret. He's farming the turret as much as possible because the objective for Immortals is to break 2 inhibs, and they're able to do so.
It wasn't in frame, so I was like, is he just hitting his
Yeah, I mean, it's guaranteed gold.
Yeah, true. And they do get both, as you mentioned. 100 Thieves trying to fight back, at least getting some kills on the board, but still need those critical third items. Ryoma looking for the death cap, but not there just yet. Soul Drake back up for the contest, if that will be a fight at all in 2:35. And I did, unfortunately, Jet, lose track of the gold tracker between Drakes, but I can tell you it's about doubled since the last time I remember you talking about it.
Gold didn't freeze.
So yes, the game clearly did not freeze.
Gold freeze was not the case. My personal point of view is that it's because 100 Thieves did not want to play that game, so they kept trying to force. You can see the argument why other teams don't force, because it did end up just making the gold worse throughout the course of the game, as Immortals now has an 8,000 gold lead, but Immortals stood their ground. They knew they had the Dragon Soul to play around. They still have it to play around, but they're going for this third inhib.
Very nice ult there from Altec. Just again, chunking down Stunt and Ryoma. The fancy new hat is finished for the 100 Thieves mid laner. So Shockwaves will be a bit more impactful if you can find some squishier targets in the backline especially. But it's kind of the least of their worries right now, as Soaz is just space tanking. Pushing these waves in, Immortals continuing to just play on 3 fronts and split 100 Thieves apart.
Yeah, and even if this doesn't go well, they'll still have that Dragon Soul in 1 minute 30. But you can see Altec using his long-range gun as best as possible to get poke on.
Got Hakuo beside him, put down a Crescendum turret as well. Immortals.
By the way, choke at this bitch.
Yes, the largest minion. Oh goodness, back into the team he goes. He's still standing. Oh, almost gets the kill on Stunt with the Feast. He will finally fall. The Rupture will not pick up Stunt, who did burn his stone plate as well. And for once, Immortals lose Soaz and don't get anything else.
He was in a little bit too deep base time. Now, actually, 100 Thieves.
Altec.
Okay.
Good damage. Does have his flash still, though. Stunt gonna find the hook. Maybe they can follow up here. Center Root does follow. Unbreakable up, but not enough to keep Hakuho alive. I misspeak. No, Cody with the ulti and the auto was enough. Didn't need the extra.
Boy. So, Cody's son is up to 87 souls. And he's got 3 lethality items now. Yeah, Aphelios is mega fed. But the next Infernal is up for 30 seconds, and Hakuho and Cho'Gath aren't alive while 100 Thieves can go for this setup. So actually, 100 Thieves now has a window where they can push out both of these super minion waves, teleport to get position, and actually hope for a fight at this Infernal. So the gold is back to about 6k. They have a lot of souls. They have a death cap. This is where you type winnable. Like, this is actually possible for 100 Thieves to make a comeback. Let's see. Brom's still in base. They're going to try and burst this down, and if they win the Smite War, they might be okay.
Someday all up in about 2 seconds. So
Somebody's got to get there, though.
Move
Yeah,
back
they're
onto
just
the
going to
focus.
fight.
They are going to fight here. Moonlight Vigil out. Big Inferno damage.
Okay, they got to reset. Cody's got to auto as much as possible, and he's got to get his Qs off on the team. All right, they're
Might
giving it
just be
up.
falling back.
They're giving it up.
I mean, I think the right attempt there for 100 Thieves, Cody TPing in. They tried to set up and get the timing, but nice placed ult there from Ultek. Gives the soul over to Immortals.
Someday had his TP that whole time. I wanted him there. Because we knew Immortals was going to contest the soul. It would have been a temporary 5v4, and I think they had a chance. Now it's much tougher with Infernal Soul on the other side. Watch for some Cinder 1.
Oh, stun. Not sure he wanted to commit for that play. Just gets stunned up and killed by Smithy. Hakuho is a good target you can try and pick off, but Stunt a little too far advanced of his team there. It's tough. I mean, 100 Thieves have no vision, basically no map control.
Yeah.
Contesting for anything is difficult. Baron is up. They're going to try and fight it, but Meteos just getting chunked out by Ica. Hakuho, they're playing defense, and Meteos is forced away. Ryoma, wrong place, wrong time. Into stasis he goes. No stun to save him with the Lantern. Shockwave not bad, but he is going to fall down. Center also going to keep alive for a little bit longer. But Aphelios finds the shutdown. Cody's stun dies to Ica. And only Someday left.
Infernal Soul Syndra. Unstoppable when he goes and gets range on a Cody's son. Desperation contest there by 100 Thieves, Immortals, Control. This is going to be all she wrote.
Well, Ultek picks up the Baron just in case they needed it. So he would finish it off himself with both the Feast and the Smite. In mid lane as Immortals are looking to crush down these final few towers and pick up the win again. Still in the hunt for second. We'll see them tomorrow in Monday Night League, but for now, it looks to be victory against 100 Thieves. They're going to dive some fountains, maybe. So as he's feeling it, Rupture and he goes, doesn't even die to the laser. That's the ace completed and the victory earned for Immortals as they run over 100 Thieves.
And Immortals keep themselves in contention for second place, moving to 3-2. Quite an early season accomplishment for this team. Smithy finding his way on a new team. Hakuho pairing himself with the new ADC, and Ultek has looked pretty damn good in his first 5 games of this LCS split. So this game, again, kind of won through just a combination of teamwork. Ica ended up this game 6-0-5, really played well throughout. Can't point out any mistake he necessarily made. So very well played by Immortals, moving to 3-2.
It just felt like they got control and they never really let go. And that's what you want to see as Immortals. You know, Zab was saying the games are cleaning up, and I think you look at that game and you say, yeah, games are cleaning up. Very smooth sailing.
Yeah, for 100 Thieves, there's definitely going to be a lot to review after this one. They had such a nice-looking win against TL, had that opportunity to move to 4-2, but my personal opinion, they just kept over-contesting things they didn't have to and ended up kind of handing a lot of that game away. But that's the stuff you're trying to learn throughout the season, and 3-3 is not bad.
Still early days, but as we take a break, when we return, the Golden Guardians closer and TSM's Broken Blade. We'll talk about their relationship pre-LCS. You don't want to miss it.